So good morning, learners. Welcome to today's lesson. And this lesson is going to be sources of electric current. Remember in a previous lesson we said that current electricity is the one that can be transmitted from one point to another. So in this case, we are going to see the sources of what we call current electricity. So number one, of course, I mentioned about dry cells. Dry cells are sources of current or electric current. Number two, we have car batteries. Then number three, we have generators. Now generators, we're going to realize that we have two types of generators. We have hydroelectric generators and we have the wind-driven generators. Then of course, before, we have geothermal generators. Then of course bicycle dynamo. Then we have hydroelectric generator. You can move this and say hydroelectric generator. Of course, we have petrol and diesel driven generators. Of course, we have solar energy panels, solar energy panels. So I'm going to just mention a few of them and let's try to explain what they are. So we start with the torch batteries. Torch battery. That is number one. We are saying this is a source of current electricity. Call them dry cells. They are popularly known as dry cells. So we want to understand what a dry cell is. So we want to see what a dry cell is. So I want to draw one here. This is a dry cell. So when you connect them this way, they are going to give us the current electricity. So these are two dry cells. So you see something written plus here. There is a plus, a minus, a plus, and a minus. Then we have, of course, so this plus, the plus means positive. So this end is having a positive charge. Then the negative means negative. These are the parts that you need to understand. So where do we use dry cells? Dry cells are used to operate. What can they do? They can operate radios. They can also be used to operate torches, cameras, or even remote control. If you look at that remote that you use to control the TV, uses dry cells. The finger size dry cells, the small ones, the finger size dry cells. So when they are connected like this, they are likely to produce charge. So when you connect them like this, they are going to produce charge. So there are like charges. Of course, we talk about unlike. So when you connect like charges like charges is like when you connect a negative and a negative, or a positive and a positive. So if this is negative and then you bring this dry cell, so that negative appears on this side, that means negative, negative. So when you connect them like that, the bulb is not likely to light. And so you realize if you are used two dry cells, only one dry cell is going to be operational. That the other one will not be able to discharge its charge. So this one, the one that was placed here, will just act like a connector. Charge can only pass through it, but cannot produce charges. So this is what we call like charges. So unlike charges are like when you connect positive and negative. This is what we call unlike charges. So in this case, electric current is going to pass. Electric current can only pass when you have a positive and negative charge connected together. But when we connect the same charges, negative and negative, then this one will hinder the movement of electric current. So that's all about the dry cells. We go to the car battery. The car battery. Most of you have seen car batteries. The one in your dad's or mom's vehicles, the one that they use. So, car batteries. That is number 2. So car batteries are also sources of electric current. So they contain chemicals that produce electric current. Contain chemicals that produce electric current. Remember I talked about the acid, the battery acid that's added so that you can recharge the battery to be able to produce electricity. Some produce more current than others. Of course, because they are not of the same size. We have car batteries that have 6 dry cells and others of 12 dry cells. So the 12 dry cells car batteries are used for the big vehicles like lorries. Find big ones, 12 dry cells. Let me just try to show you what we mean by dry cells. So we have 6 here. So this one has a metal going downwards, a metal going downwards. There are 6 of them. So I'm just drawn 3. So this is a knob. You just open the knob and you move. There's a metal here. There's a metal here going down. So that empty place, that's where you pour the acid, so that can react with the metal to be able to produce electric current. So where do we use these car batteries? And again, something else, they can be reused. Reused in the sense that they can be recharged. This one can be recharged, and used, reused, and reused. Meaning that you don't only buy one. You don't only buy after it gets worn out, you buy another one. No. Once you buy a car, it has only one battery, car battery. So once the charge is over, you can always place inside the battery acid so that it can recharge. After recharging, it will still serve you the same way. So once you only buy it once, and once you have bought it, you can always recharge. There are those ones that can be recharged using electricity. You connect to electricity, discharge very fast, then you can use it. So car batteries are used in motor vehicles. They are used in motor vehicles. They are also used in lighting and operating television. In lighting and operating televisions. They can also be used on radios, televisions and radios. If you don't have the electricity in your home, the one that passes through the cables, you can always use a battery to be able to light your house. So once you recharge the battery and bring it, to connect it, and you have a bulb, it's going to light, and it will serve you the same purpose. You are not used to run television, so if you don't have electricity, you can connect it to a battery, and the TV will be able to operate as usual. So car batteries also have negative and positive ends, and they are made up of 6 cells. So car batteries also have negative and positive ends, and they are made up of 6 cells. So they are made up of 6 cells, like I said. The ones that are made of 12 cells are big vehicles, just like lorries. So we are going to end at that point. Remember, we talked about the torch battery. We have shown how it looks like, and then we have also talked about the car batteries. When we come in our next lesson, we are going to discuss the generators. You see there are many. Talked about hydroelectric generator, geothermal generators, petrol and diesel driven generators, wind driven generators. There are so many types of generators. So we are going to discuss all of them and see which one produces electricity in which way. Like for example, the way geothermal generator produces electricity is not the same way that hydroelectric generator produces its charge. Like for example, in a hydroelectric generator, water is going to turn the turbines. Water is going to be run from a bigger height to land on the turbines to be able to rotate, which is connected to a generator that is going to rotate and give us power. But in geothermal generator, geothermal is made up of 2 words, geo and thermal. Geo means earth, thermal means heat. So this heat from the earth that is going to run some turbines to be able to give us electricity. So let's meet in the next lesson and have an interesting lesson about generators. May God bless you as you continue doing your revision back at home. Revise those questions that I gave you, especially the class 6 questions that I gave you. I saw many of you not doing so well in that exercise, but it was a very cheap exercise. So ensure that you go through it. The questions that maybe you may not get them right, forward them to me for discussion. God bless you and stay safe.